Hello everyone, I am Preet and welcome to Relevant Myths, where I will be decoding and explaining all stories ranging from movies to mythology and sports to politics. So, for the first video of this channel, let us begin with the most fun and trending form of story today, a superhero story. Here are the 5 main sections of the video which we will be discussing today. So, firstly, what are the basic traits of a superhero and how come this idea of a hero saving society and killing villains first appears as a thought? Well, the concept of a hero emerged from the Greek mythology, which has since been a major influence on all comic books as well as Western movies and TV shows in general. Now, I thought the best way to quickly and simply find the influence of Greek mythology on modern superheroes is to list all the main characteristics of a traditional Greek hero and then find similarities between them and the traits of a modern superhero. So, let's do it. Here are the 6 main traits of a Greek hero. First is unusual birth. So, which modern superheroes check out this column? Well, Superman and Aquaman. Second is troubled childhood. So, which all check this one? Literally every one of them. Third is indifferent to society. This means at first they don't care about anything and are quite self-centered, but then something happens and they change. So, here we can put Wonder Woman and Iron Man. Fourth is has major flaws. Here we can include Iron Man and Batman. Next is fights big, fantastical villains. Well, that's basically all of them. And the last one is tragic or ignoble death. So, in comic books, for obvious reasons, most characters never actually die. They keep coming back in some weird way or another. But courtesy to Kevin Feige, we now have Iron Man and Black Widow who have actually died in the movies. So, we'll include them here. So, just by looking at their characteristics, you can clearly see that there is a connection between a superhero and a Greek hero and how they function in a narrative. Now, let's quickly study the basic structure of a superhero movie. This is just a standard layout made by me, but it's quite accurate in most cases. So, firstly, the origin story. Tragedy in childhood, indifferent to society, change in heart after seeing evil, making a signature costume, defeating the villain. Then, the sequel. Now, there are largely 2 types of sequel plots based on the movie studio and relations with other superheroes. A. Villain is created by hero's flaws, journey of self-awakening, defeating the villain and his inner flaws. B. Meeting other heroes, journey of self-awakening, uniting to defeat a greater enemy. And finally, the last part of a franchise or the final movie of a series. Succumbing to flaws again, being questioned by society, finally defeating the flaws and sacrificing himself for the greater good. Okay, so now we know what is a comic book superhero, from where is it inspired, and how superhero movies are made. So let's take this wedding formula from Hollywood in the West to Bollywood in the East. We do have comic book publishers like Diamond Comics, Taj Comics, Tinkle, Amar Chitra Katha, Chanda Mama, which have superheroes in them like Super Commando Dhruv, Nagraj, Doga, Inspector Steel, Tiranga, Beria and Kobe, Parmanu, Devi, Shakti, etc. So firstly, let's quickly get to know them. First is Inspector Steel. He is completely made from chips and computer and is very similar to Western superheroes like Cyborg and Robocop. Next is Agniputra Abhay. Quite apparent from the name, he is the son of Agni, i.e. fire. He is obviously inspired from Indian myths. Next is Super Commando Dhruv. He is quite famous and you may have even heard about him. He is the Indian equivalent of Batman. Next is Tiranga. There is nothing original about this one. He is a ripoff of Captain America. Next one is Shakti. She is inspired from the Indian myths of the goddess, where the serene Gauri converts to the destructive Kali. Next is Beria and Kobe. Now they are interesting. They are alter egos of each other. One is a man and one is a wolf. Next is Parmanu. He is very similar to the Marvel superhero War Machine. Next is Nagraj. He is the snake man who wears an underwear. You might have seen the 90s TV shows on Nagraj in memes too. He has some extraordinary abilities. Actually, not extraordinary, but every ability that ever existed. Pause and read the full list if you want to. It's insane. Next one is Doga. He is by far the most interesting of all. He can be said similar to Punisher or Batman, but it's still quite original. He was actually a man named Suraj who was then trained by 3 teachers. Now, these teachers are freaking awesome. Just hear their names. He learned martial arts from Haldi Khan, boxing from Tanya Khan, and marksmanship from Kali Mirchi Khan. And the final one is Devi. She is a goddess created by some greater gods who battles the renegade god called Bala. Okay, so now we have seen the pictures as well as some of their backstories. It's not very difficult to conclude that 75% of them are hip-hops from Marvel and DC Comics, 15% are original but shitty, and just 10% are good. But why is that the case? Indian superheroes have also been made with the same formula as Marvel and DC Comics. They also follow the same story structure as Western comic books. So what's the problem? Well, there are many of them. First is, as discussed earlier, a basic superhero has Greek influences, so it will feel normal with white actors from the West but cringy with Indian actors. It will feel like cheap imitation, as if trying to take something completely different and forcefully putting it somewhere it doesn't belong. For example, do you know what comic books are called in Hindi? Well, guess what? They are called Chitrakatha, and that's from Wikipedia, not my head. Imagine saying, "Hey, I just read the new Tiranga Chitrakatha." Sounds super weird and cringy, right? Second one is, most Indian superheroes are either inspired from Western comic books like Inspector Steel, Super Commando, Dhruv, Parmanu, etc., or Indian mythology like Devi, Nagraj, Shakti, etc. Now, both these inspirations are so different that they don't belong with each other at the same time. Western comic books are inspired from Greek and Norse mythology, which are the fundamental concepts of one life, heaven and hell, achievements, afterlife, Elysium, and the underworld. And these are the same myths along with biblical myths which have influenced the Western culture and civilization. But Indian culture is mostly inspired from Jain, Buddhist, Sikh, and Hindu mythologies, which have the concepts of rebirth, infinite life, cyclical time, no hell or heaven, no afterlife, and the concept of Dev, Bhagwan, and Brahman. So, if you have these two completely different ideologies combining with each other, the result will obviously be a big mess. And this applies to Western comic books too. Why do you think there are so many gods of Norse mythology in Marvel but none of Indian mythology? It's simply because Indian myths don't fit in the paradigm of that storytelling and they know it. But sadly, we don't. And now, the final one is comic book movies in general don't connect with normal Indian audience. It is true that Marvel movies have been doing quite well in Indian box office recently. Avengers Endgame earned almost 350 crores last year and it was a super hit. But think for a minute. Why do we actually see Marvel movies? Think honestly, and you will find that most of us see them just for the beautiful actors and actresses, awesome CGI and visual effects, and the good feeling that comes when we tell others that I watched a Hollywood Marvel movie. Also, it's a long running franchise, so if you saw one, you will want to see the others in order to find out what happens next. The comic book structure is not the main attraction here. There are other factors which make these movies successful here, and that reflects directly in the viewership. Most of the audience for Marvel movies is millennials. Middle-aged and old people don't watch them. All people don't watch Marvel movies. It's mostly millennials and people living in urban areas. So one can say that we are connected to these movies, but in a very superficial way and not a deep way. Not as deep as Bahubali, the 80s TV shows, Raman Sagar's Ramayana and Krishna, and B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata. And the best example of that is right now. In these quarantine times, reruns of the 80s TV shows have started on Doordarshan. And don't tell me that you haven't seen Ramayana memes popping up everywhere. All have gone crazy. Hashtag Ramayana on DD National was trending at number 2 in India Twitter. The viewership charts are off the roof. Approximately 42 million people were watching Ramayana on an average, which is the highest for any TV show in the last 5 years. So, if Indian comic books want to have any chance of mainstream success, they should put the Western approach aside and concentrate only on Indian myths and culture. Thank you so much for watching the entire video. If you like my content, please like the video, comment your thoughts down in the comment section below, subscribe to Relevant Myths and hit the bell icon in order to receive notifications whenever a new video is dropped. Share this video to as many people as possible and you can also follow the channel's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter accounts. All links are in the description below. Once again, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.